Welcome to my channel, Military Comebacks. There are stories whispered in military hall stories that make even the toughest soldiers pause and think. Stories that remind us strength does not always shout. Sometimes it simply breathes in silence. This is one of those stories. It began on a cold morning at the Naval Combat Training Base in Virginia. Fog hung thick over the field like a ghost. New recruits stood in formation, boots shining, uniforms crisp. The air smelled of steel and salt. Among them was a girl named Emily Hart. She stood at the end of the line, silent, her eyes focused. Hair tucked neatly under her cap, hands clasped. Behind her back, she didn't speak, smile, or even blink much. The others noticed. "Hey, silent girl," one whispered, smirking. "Forget how to talk?" A few chuckled, nudging each other. Emily didn't react. She stared straight ahead, calm and unreadable. "Maybe she's scared," another voice said. "Maybe she doesn't belong here." Instructor's whistle cut through the chatter like a blade. Fallen recruits? The group stiffened. Emily didn't flinch. She moved with precision. Steps measured, eyes sharp. The day's training was brutal obstacle runs, push-ups, mud crawls, sparring. Sweat dripped from every face. Muscles burned. Voices echoed across the field. Emily moved like water, smooth, steady, controlled. She spoke to no one. By midday, most recruits were exhausted. The instructors called for a combat drill, hand-to-hand sparring. "Pair up," Sergeant Miller barked. The recruits quickly found partners except Emily. No one wanted to pair with her, fearing she'd slow them down, Miller noticed. "You're without a partner again." She nodded once. "All right then, silent girl. You're up against Corporal Diaz." The recruits gasped. Diaz wasn't a recruit. A trainer known for being ruthless, huge, muscular, fast. "Sir, she's just a recruit," someone murmured. "Exactly," Miller said. "Let's see what the quiet ones can do." Diaz stepped forward, cracking his knuckles. "Don't worry, kid," he said, grinning. "I'll go easy." Bowed her head slightly, a sign of respect. The whistle blew. Diaz lunged, aiming for her arm, but Emily shifted. Movement was so fluid it seemed as if she vanished. A sweep of her foot buckled his leg. She pivoted, used his momentum against him, flipping him flat on his back. The recruits froze. Sergeant Miller blinked in disbelief. Diaz scrambled up, angry. He charged again, harder, faster. Emily waited, silent and still, until the last second. Then she struck a clean block, a sharp elbow, a swift kick. Diaz was down again. The field went dead quiet. Miller's whistle never reached his lips. Diaz groaned, not angry anymore, only shocked. Emily stood there, hands at her sides, breathing steady. Someone whispered, "What the hell was that?" Another added, "She took him down." That was just the beginning. Over the next weeks, the legend of Silent Girl spread. Emily outperformed everyone in endurance, shooting, strategy. She never bragged, never smiled, just trained. Precise, relentless, silent. Most recruits didn't know her story. Years before, joining the program, Emily had served in a covert task unit overseas. During a mission in Syria, her team was ambushed. She was the only survivor, wounded but alive. She spent months in recovery, haunted by gunfire and screams. When she returned, she requested to start over as a recruit. She didn't want rank. She wanted redemption. No one knew that. To them, she was just the quiet girl in uniform. Then came the day that changed everything. 6 Marines from another division arrived for a joint drill, cocky, loud, eager to show off. Seeing Emily standing alone at the edge of the field, they laughed. "Hey, sweetheart," one called. "You lost?" Another smirked. "Maybe she's the mascot." The recruits shifted uncomfortably. Everyone knew better than to mess with Emily, but the Marines didn't. Sergeant Miller sensed tension. "All right, let's make this interesting," he said. 6 Marines versus 6 recruits, hand to hand. "Hart, you're leading the recruits." The Marines laughed. "You serious?" one said. Emily didn't react. She just nodded the whistle. Blew. Chaos erupted. The Marines charged forward, confident. The recruits tried to hold the line, but within seconds, 2 were down. Emily moved like lightning, blocking, dodging, countering. She wasn't just fighting, she was thinking. One Marine lunged. She ducked, spun, and disarmed him, sending him crashing into another. A third tried to flank her. She dropped. Lowe swept his legs and used his rifle strap to pull him off balance. He hit the ground hard. The remaining 3 regrouped, circling her. Emily adjusted her stance, eyes calm, almost peaceful. The next one rushed in, big, fast, confident. It sidestepped, twisted his arm behind his back, and used her knee to force him down. 4 down. The 5th came from behind, trying to grab her neck. Without turning, Emily flipped him clean over her shoulder and pinned him. The 6th Marine, their leader, froze. Sweat dripped from his face. He had seen enough. Emily stood straight, eyes on him. "You still want to go?" She asked softly, the first words anyone had heard from her all week. He dropped his stance. "No, ma'am." Whistle blew, but no one moved. Silence was heavy, thick with awe. Sergeant Miller finally stepped forward. "You all just learned something today," he said. "Never judge a warrior by their silence." The Marines saluted. The recruits stood taller. Later that night, Emily sat alone on the training field, staring at the horizon. The wind was soft, stars flickering faintly. Diaz walked up quietly. He said, "I've been training Marines for 15 years. I've never seen anything like today." Emily smiled faintly, the first real smile since joining. "It's not about strength," she said. "It's about control." He nodded. "Could have gone back to active duty." "I didn't want to," she replied. "I came here to remember why I started, to find peace again." Diaz looked at her, then saluted. "You found it today?" She didn't answer. She looked at the stars, whispering, "Maybe." Word spread quickly. Within a week, her story reached higher ranks. The quiet girl who took down 6 Marines became a symbol of discipline, focus, and humility. The next morning, during the flag ceremony, Miller called her name, Recruit Hart front and center. She stepped forward. The entire base was silent. 4. Outstanding performance, unmatched discipline, and courage under pressure. You are recommended for advanced operations training. The recruits cheered. Even the Marines clapped. Emily saluted sharply. "Thank you, sir." Miller leaned closer. "You've earned it, silent girl." As the ceremony ended, Emily stood tall, the sun rising behind her. Light caught her eyes. Strong, unbroken. For the first time in years, she felt peace. Not because she had won, but because she had proven that silence is not weakness. It's power under control. The recruits who once laughed at her never forgot that day. Years later, when they became soldiers, officers, and leaders, they told her story to others. They told it as a lesson. Sometimes the quietest person in the room has faced the loudest battles, and she had won every single one. Thank you for watching. If Emily's story inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to Military Comebacks, where the past meets the power of the human spirit.